We're glad that everyone's here with us tonight that is, and we're looking forward to everyone having a wonderful Christmas. And at this time, the meeting is open, and we will call on Mr. Tony Cluess to do the invocation for us. Tony, we're certainly glad to have you tonight, and thank you so much for coming.
Good to be here. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Let us pray. Almighty Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you, Lord, for this time of year. We thank you, Lord, that you had love enough for the world to send your only begotten Son. And that's what we should be celebrating this time of year, Lord. I know, God, that a lot of people have made it materialistic and think about presents and things like that. But, Lord, you give the very best that you have for us. And, Lord, we want to thank you for that tonight. And we ask you, Lord, to bless the City Council, Lord, as they conduct business. Lord, each one help us all to have a good, Merry Christmas, and help us to have the love that you had for us, for our fellow man, as we're going to give you the praise, honor, and the glory for it all. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Okay, we might make note that Mayor Pro Tem Mr. Bowie is not here with us tonight, and also Councilwoman Massey is not with us tonight. Our attorney is running a little bit behind. He got held up in a traffic situation.
Mr. Mayor, could I also ask you to make a note of the amended agenda? There's one item that does need to be added, and that's the grant agreement with Duke Energy to install the electric vehicle charging station.
Right, where are you going to put that?
I added it to the end as item 12.1.
All right, 12.1.
And that would be enclosure number 6 as well.
Council, you have before you the agenda for tonight's meeting. The city manager has requested one change to add item 12.1, the agreement with Duke Energy regarding the automobile charging station. What are your wishes?
Just to amend the agenda.
Yeah, to approve the agenda with that.
Yeah, I'll make a motion with that.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Also before you, you have minutes from, or you should have already seen minutes from the closed sessions of November the 8th, November the 10th, excuse me, closed session for November the 8th. And then you should have before you all three of these closed sessions? Okay. Closed sessions for November the 8th, closed sessions for November the 10th, and closed session from November the 18th. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at those? Approve? Okay, what's your wish?
Make a motion to approve.
All right, got a motion to approve?
Second.
Got a second? Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. At this time, we come to the point in our agenda where we allow anybody who has comments for the City Council that is not on the agenda tonight for any other reason. If you have anything to bring before council at this time, we would ask you to come forward. If not, we'll close the comments from attendees. Item number 6, old business. Amendment of the fee schedule, resolution 2016-08. Mr. Abernathy.
Yes, Mayor and Council. Enclosure number 1 is an amendment to the city's fee schedule, and per council request, we've removed the Hamlet Babe Ruth Park as we do not own it, and we've added Memorial Park, American Legion, and the Field of Dreams to the list under the facility rental fee rates. And I assumed that you wanted to keep those costs at $250 per event, just like South Hamlet Park.
I guess my only question here, and we're talking about the park over on Park Street, is we have no recourse and no way to collect the fees when they use it at night. We have to pay for light.
That's correct. We have a lease agreement with the county, and that lease agreement specifically states that we're not allowed to sublease in any way the property, and anyone that would want to use that property would need to go through the county school system, and I believe the specific staff member responsible for that is Michelle Thublin.
But the city council, then at this point, we're paying for the lights being used down there at night.
Yes, we do. We pay for the electricity.
Well, can I just say something?
Yes, sir.
And just cut through the elephant that I think may be in the room. There's been some issues and some situations that's going on down there with some of the people going in there, renting it, leasing it, whatever they're doing. Trash in the street, beer bottles and stuff like that. I think we as a council needs to inform school system about that, because I'm sure they don't know about it.
Oh, yes, they do. They've been told.
Well, that's even worse, and let them start policing that a little bit, because there's graffiti wrote on the road, spray painted, there's beer bottles, there's all kinds of stuff that's in there. Not saying that everybody that goes down there does it, but there has been some complaints there, and I know the church has had some issues as well. So we used to think that we were in charge of it. Now it's them, and they've got their signs on the fence there telling people that it's restricted use during certain times. But we need to work with them to make sure those problems stop.
Yeah, let me clarify. We're not allowed to sublease, but we were given permission through that lease agreement to respond to complaints. So if our police department does get a call that there's rough housing down there, or there's groups down there that are not supposed to be down there on Friday nights, we can go out there and
I get that, but what I'm talking about is maybe keep a log of who's causing the problems, who's in charge of renting it for this night, and if there is problems, then that person. I think they just need to work on that, because we had a problem with that for a while whenever we were doing it.
Do we use the field for practice anymore?
we do use the field for practice during soccer and maybe baseball or football seasons, very briefly.
So we're using the lights during a little bit of time.
Okay. Going on with the resolution on the fee schedule, what are your wishes on that, council?
Make a motion to approve as is.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Martin? Okay, all in favor say aye. Opposed likewise. Ayes have it, thank you. Moving along to new business, at this time we are pleased to have with us Mr. Ken Anderson. Ken, thank you for coming tonight. Ken, I understand, has good news on our city audit report.
Yeah, looks like you had a good year. I have this little 2-page summary that it should accompany your financials. That's what I'd like to go over. I know I do this every year. The first 2 columns there, the general fund, the water sewer fund, those are the 2 major funds here at Hamlet. And you can look over, there's 6 years worth of fund balance. This is undesignated fund balance, which is in essence cash minus accounts payable. You can see well, back in 2011 there was an ample balance, but the last number of years, the last 3 years, there's been a nice increase. And if you look at the percentage there, the state requires 8% to be kept in the undesignated fund balance, and the city has 42.3%. So I think you have a very healthy fund balance. And the water sewer fund is the same. This year that increased to $157,000. So it looks like the fund balance, as far as the way you're budgeting, seems to be going quite well. Below that we have property tax information. The second column, excluding vehicle, is property tax. That's what the city collects. And you can see overall, if you look at the 6 years, if you average it, it's somewhere around 96%. Now the vehicle tax, there's a little anomaly in that. I'm going to point that out. In 2014, the Department of Motor Vehicles started collecting that tax, and that coincides with your registration tag. You notice it's gone up, But this particular year, at June 30th, was actually a little more in account receivable than there had been in prior years. It was up about 20,000. So therefore, when you look at that collection rate, say 90% as opposed to 99%, it doesn't look good. But the additional receivable that was held in that account was in fact collected in July. So apples to apples, it's probably somewhere in the same range, about 99%. Now, if you turn to the second page, and under audit report, item 1, this references the audit report itself. Independent auditor's report, the city received an unmodified opinion. What that means is that the information, all the numbers that are in the financial statement, we basically audited those numbers and they're correct. So it's a good audit report. The second item on page 17, that's the net change in fund balance for the general fund. That's like the income statement for the general fund. And you can see for that year, revenues exceeded expenditures, and in essence, sort of a net income of about $50,000. The third item on page 19, that's the water sewer fund. And this is a little misleading. The expenditures exceeded revenues. That means you had a loss in that fund of $247,000. But the catch there is $528,000 of that was depreciation expense. So depreciation expense is a non-cash expense. So if you were to ever compare the fund balance for the water sewer fund, you notice it increased, I think, $200,000. What you'd have to do is you'd have to net that loss against depreciation expense. And when those two net together, you actually have an increase about 200-some thousand. The next item on page 46, that's the debt that the city has, and you notice it in the governmental funds, which is the general fund. It increased from $121,000 to about $185,000, and the main catalyst for that was there was $216,000 additional debt for there was 5 vehicles purchased during the year, so that's debt associated with that. And then the business type debt, there was no additional debt there, and that decreased. Well, it went from about $500,000 to $406,000. So there was a decrease in debt there, about $102,000. Overall debt decreased about $38,000 for the city. This year, the city was not subject to any compliance audits. Periodically, we have these community development block grants. PAL bill once in a while comes into play, which are additional compliance type audits. You didn't have any of those for this year. And then the report itself has been submitted to local government commission. The last sentence there is not correct. It actually has not been accepted yet. The local government commission this year sent out a memo about a month ago that they're very understaffed and that the reports are going to take longer to review this year. So it has actually not been reviewed and accepted by LGC. But we actually sent it in, I think, a little bit earlier this year than prior years. So that's just one of those things. And if there are any changes that come into play, once in a while they'll find something that they want changed a little bit. We'll take care of that. There's an annual financial information report, which is another report we have to file. And I think I know we've completed that. Everything's good on that. And as far as the numbers, it looks like a good year, as far as I'm concerned. Jill, she's been here long enough now where we seem to have a good working relationship. The information's given to us in mid-August, and it's usually in good order. We don't have to wait on a lot. And I think your controls overall are strong here at the city. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them for you.
Anyone got any questions for Mr. Anderson?
Is there anything we can do to, whenever we're actually going through the budget process, to estimate some of this income that comes in later, because when we're doing the budget, like we're underestimating the expected revenues, and then it comes in. I mean, it's a good thing it's coming in, but I mean, be more realistic in terms of when we're actually going through that budget process. Is there like a gauge that we should, in other words, should we change what we've been estimating?
Well, I don't really know what you do, to be honest with you, as far as the budget process, but what you probably should do is, and I know I have been asked about fund balance at different points in time where you want to know the fund balance. You have to compare fund balance and expenditures to the same month of the corresponding year, because your fund balance really fluctuates during the year. You know, when the tax revenue comes in, your fund balance is going to be quite high, and then at other times, when you get a latter part of the year, it's going to be real low. So really what you'd have to do is you'd have to have a budget that would be based on, say, July at that point in time for this year and last year, July the following year. And usually those revenues come in consistently year to year, like tax revenues. They're going to come in about the same time every year. But if you're looking at like the way I do the reports on June 30th, you can't really estimate June 30th compared to December 31, because those numbers are going to be drastically different. So
even though whenever we're formulating the budget and we're showing that we're using, just throwing a number out, 200,000 for the fund balance, and then at the end of the cycle, we actually didn't use that 200,000, but we actually put back 200,000. We should keep doing it like that.
well, you would have to.
You know, we take some hits in the media and from different folks when we're doing the budget, and we're underestimating some of these revenues that's coming in, and it did it like that with at least two or 3 years. I'm just thinking, maybe is there any way we can start looking at the expected revenues coming in a little bit higher than what we have been estimating?
Yeah, like I say, what I think you should do is compare year to year, and then if you think, like for example, the shared revenues, the local option sales tax, that's gone up a lot the last 2 or 3 years. What you probably want to do is see where you are, say at January or February, compare it to the year before, and then if you think it's going to be up 10%, then you could estimate it based on that.
And I'm not saying go to the high end, but I'm saying move it a little bit where it's not, you know, that fund balance is not
Right.
at the time of the budget, to balance the budget.
Right.
Okay.
When did you do the budget? February, March?
We start about March or April.
Yeah.
Has to be submitted by the end of June.
Yeah.
The only other question I had, the general, on page 46, the general obligation bond, is that the sewer plant?
I think it is.
$17,163 as of July 2015.
There's so many of these I can't.
Yeah. It's on page 46 under government activity. If that is it, that's great, because that thing gets close. Take it off.
Yes, do you have your financials with you? Look on page 45 of your financials. I've actually put the wrong page number. It's actually on page 45.
Okay.
You see the top one under general obligation bonds?
Yeah.
That's what that is. And it's split. There's a slight split between part of it's in the general fund and part of it's in the business.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So that thing's getting close to being paid.
Yeah. Let's see, where's the maturity? Okay. Yeah, you're in a very good debt situation.
Okay.
Very strong. A lot of municipalities have lots and lots of debt, especially with the water sewer fund. You know, that can incur lots and lots of debt, and you don't have much.
And you never know when that's going to hit.
Right. You never know when that's going to hit.
That's right.
On a personal note, glad to see you up and about and better.
Well, I'm glad to be up.
Tough time. Thank you for all you've done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Got a question? Not, thank you so much.
Thank you, and y'all have a Merry Christmas.
The next item of business before us, item number 8, is adoption of a resolution number 2016-09, staff authorization for the disaster relief and this is regarding Hurricane Matthew, and I will go over this. Whereas the city of Hamlet has been declared eligible to receive financial assistance from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, better known as FEMA, for expenses related to Hurricane Matthew. FEMA regulations require appointment of a primary and secondary agent to execute and file applications for financial assistance. Now therefore be it resolved that Jill Dickens, Finance Officer, and Mr. Marcus Abernathy, the city manager, are hereby authorized as primary and secondary agents to execute and file applications for federal and or state assistance on behalf of the city of Hamlet for the purpose of obtaining certain state and federal assistance under the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act, or is otherwise available. And be it further resolved that the above named agents are authorized to represent and act for the city of Hamlet on all dealings with the state of North Carolina and the Federal Emergency Management Agency for all matters pertaining to such disaster assistance required by the grant agreement and other specific assurances. And be it finally resolved that the above named agents are authorized to represent and to act severally, adopted at the regular monthly meeting of the Hamlet City Council on December the 13th of 2016. Council, what are your wishes?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Should we, because Marcus's situation, should it be his designee or his designee with Jill?
We could add that, and to tell you the truth, it was left blank because at first I wasn't sure if my name should be on the resolution since I am leaving in the near future. But we were told today in a meeting with our designated FEMA field officer that that won't be an issue, so I just filled in the blank and typed my name.
Should we put his designation?
Yeah, I think
We could. I don't think that it would hurt anything.
Yeah, okay.
That would be good, city manager or acting city manager. Any further questions?
Make a motion. Accept.
Got a motion to accept the resolution?
Second.
Have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next item of business is item number 9, which is the adoption of the second quarter budget amendment. Any questions on that?
I guess shouldn't we be approving the Duke agreement before you make a budget amendment?
I don't know if it really matters either or, but we didn't get the Duke agreement until Friday once the packets had already gone out, so it kind of was a last minute.
I have that before me if we would like to go ahead and
I mean, just
entertain
in
that.
terms of, what do you think?
That'd be 12B, 12.2. All right, let's do that if y'all don't mind. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
We'll just table that until we get to 12. All right. Next item of business is item number 10, which is tax releases. There's a lot of them on there. Come on. Total property tax releases in the amount of $9,002, and the total amount of taxes refunded is $178. What are your wishes on this, council?
Move to approve.
They have a motion to approve the tax amendment. that solution?
Second.
Have a second? Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Opposed likewise. Next item of business, item number 11, the appointment to the Hamlet ABC Board. We have Mr. Bert Unger, whose term is running out, and he requests to continue, and we also have a application from Mr. Wilson Keys, better known as Billy Wise. Council, what do you wish?
Make a motion to put Billy Wise on there.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Okay. Okay, item number 12, discussion on the matter of Christmas bonuses for our employees.
Go ahead. Since we did not give a cost of living raise or anything along those lines except for merit type raises at the beginning of the budget, we actually had budgeted some money there to revisit the raise first of the year, and council actually had, well, a couple of folks had actually made the suggestion that in lieu of doing anything with a raise that we would give a Christmas bonus. And I'd like to make a motion that we give all the city employees a $250 Christmas bonus.
This bonus we're talking about, in other words, the raise is off the table. There's no raise in the first of the year.
It was, I think it was just tabled for the budget session down the road.
Yeah. And I mean, it's something that we could revisit as well. And I hope we do revisit that. It was budgeted to see. I would hope so.
It'll come up in probably in the budget.
Yeah. I mean, the money's there in the budget for that, from July until January. And this is a very small percentage of that. It wouldn't, in other words, it wouldn't throw us over into any more money, because it would, if we were able to do that, if we could agree to do that and implement that in January, then it's not going to cost any more. But for now, my thing was from June till December, they didn't get anything, and that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Now,
Make sure this don't eliminate
No.
the raise that we were talking about that might come in January.
Right, and in my opinion, it should not.
well, they also just got everybody with 5 years or more, they just got a longevity bonus. This last paycheck.
Okay.
Okay, I've got a motion for $250 bonus. Do I have a second?
I'm sorry, you need a second?
I need a second. Motion and second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Thank you so much. Now, the next matter of business coming up is item number 12.1, and that is the agreement.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to confirm that would be for all permanent, full-time and part-time employees?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's all right. Thank you. Glad to clarify that. Okay, this next item of business, 12.1, is agreement with Duke Energy. We're going to be installing 2 charging stations for electric vehicles. One of them will be at the depot, and one of them will be at the library for those people who drive around town in all electric vehicles. And Duke Energy is paying the cost of installing, and our cost will strictly be maintenance on them.
Yeah, my cost would be maintenance and
The charging of the vehicle.
Mr. Councilman Martin, we would own the stations and we would have to pay for the electricity. We would have the option to charge a nominal fee. What I hear the going rate to be is $1 to $2 per hour. It takes about 2 to 4 hours for a completely depleted electric vehicle battery to come back to a full charge. But that's something that could be determined on a later date once they are installed to be added to our fee schedule. Electric vehicle owners should have an account to purchase energy for their car at these stations, and the station has a cell signal that basically allows for the station to charge an individual to hook up their car to the station.
So this will be implemented, I didn't go catch that in this agreement, but that will be implemented on that equipment?
And that would be up to us to determine whether or not we wanted to offer that for free and absorb those costs, or we wanted to charge a nominal fee.
Well, will they put this equipment on the machine, or we got to pay for that?
The first year it is free. The second year we have to pay a annual service fee that's in the amount of about $200 annually. Yeah, the stations will operate without having to pay that fee, but if you wanted to set it up to where you could charge individuals for the use of the stations, you would have to pay that service fee to the company.
To which one?
To the station.
Is that just to reimburse the city?
No. We still pay for the electricity.
What he's talking about is whenever they slide the card, somebody's getting money off that to manage that machine.
There's a third party involved.
Yeah.
Is Hamlet getting any money?
It's up to this council. If the council wanted
We charge a
to
fee for it.
establish a fee, you could.
I don't either.
Yeah. A lot of the other.
Cars running around, I haven't seen the country.
These vehicles are supposed to grow in popularity in the coming years, and there's a lot more electric vehicle car owners in more metropolitan areas, and with Hamlet being halfway between the beach and places like Charlotte and Winston-Salem, it's a wonderful place for a person who owns an electric vehicle to stop, charge their vehicle, and spend some money in Hamlet's downtown. This would be the only electric vehicle charging station in Richmond County. Believe it or not, electric vehicles, they have the GPS technology in the vehicle, and they will tell the driver, the GPS will tell the driver where the nearest charging station is. Isn't that neat?
How much is it going to cost for both of them in a year? After everything's said and done, and the city has to cover it.
The
Maintenance, upkeep, damages, tore up, everything.
The service fee is $200 per year. The electricity
Per station or for both?
that is per station.
That's $400.
$400 a year. Right?
So, no, that's only if we wanted to set it up to where we could charge.
Okay.
Otherwise,
You wouldn't have that.
otherwise the electricity consumption of each station, from what I've been able to gather, is nominal when not being used, which is, like maybe 50 cents a month, if that. But when they are being used, it costs about 45 to 48 cents per hour
let's back
they
up.
are being charged.
Let's back up a second, because if you've got a meter, Seaboard had 8, and you plan on using one of the Seaboard meters that they don't have a problem with, they pay about $20+ a month and just for nothing. Well, Well,
Yep.
part of the agreement though is that they use the meter, or at least the one at the library, from the Seaboard, so they didn't have to pay for this because, and the Seaboard still would have their plugs to use for the Seaboard Festival.
But the city will be paying for that meter.
Yeah, but
That's another $22 or something a month.
well, I mean, I'm just pointing out that we turned off the Seaboard's meters this year right after
Yeah.
the Seaboard, but they were being charged about $22 and change every month per meter that was on. It was, I mean, we knocked off $2,000 a year by shutting it down. They charge you $16.50 per meter to turn it back on, so you know it was a no-brainer to turn it off. I'm not against this. But
I don't want to see it coming out costing the city, really.
We,
We wouldn't give 2 vehicles a day or a week, because who's gonna pull up behind another car and wait 4 hours for them to fill up or recharge, so they can recharge 4 hours later?
when they need to recharge to get home.
Going somewhere else.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get one car after another.
Yeah. But as far as the electricity, we met with one of the engineers with Duke Energy staff, Duke Energy and myself, and we arranged for the electricity at the visitor center to be tied in to an existing meter box owned by the city. So we would only be paying for that additional electricity, no minimum bill. At the library, the closest meter box owned by the city was facing Rice Street, and the installation costs would be a little bit more expensive to run from the opposite side of the library. And the engineer with Duke Energy recommended that we ran from a meter box at the intersection of Henderson and Main Street. We could have Duke Energy install our own meter on that pole, but I noticed that Seaboard Festival Committee already had their own pole, and that pole can be used and probably has been used at various city events, such as the Library Fun Day, events that are sponsored by the city. I reached out to the Seaboard Festival Committee. David, what would you call your wife? The president of the committee?
I call her yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I reaced out to yes, ma'am, and she was in favor of that idea.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you have to have an answer tonight?
No, you don't. We actually have
Well, why
until
can't you
the
just
end.
table this until
That's fine.
Jonathan and Wendy get back here? They may have
Yeah.
some more thoughts about this. Let's
And,
table
yeah,
this.
and also, could you not get somebody from Duke Energy to come in and talk about this?
I think that I could arrange that. That would be fine.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions I've got is, and I still haven't had an answer, who's going to pay for and put the collection device on it?
I don't think you would need one of those because you're not going to have that much use on it. You're going to pay more to try to collect money than you're going to actually pay.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of the other towns are doing because the cost of the energy is so nominal. They're not charging. But a representative with the charging station company said that stations on the West Coast are charging, but stations on the East Coast are currently not. And she thinks that in the future, most stations will just be forced
I
to
mean, if
have
you were in
some
a big
sort of
city or
fee.
something, I mean, you're going to get more people to use it. But here, I don't think you need to try
I don't think you're going to get many people passing through anyway because we're not really halfway to the beach, and our daughter-in-law has one of these cars that she can't get but 85 miles on it.
Some range between 100 and say 300 miles.
Yeah, but that's the interstate. They can stop in Hamlet.
They might if they have a good
it,
reason to. Like they're
Council,
low on.
let's have a consensus to table this till next month.
I just hate to see us
Okay.
get a grant and get these things in here and
We're not in any rush anyway.
somebody tears it up or it tears up. And we're constantly upkeeping something that we're not using. Doesn't seem like a lot of money when you look at the overall, but whose idea was this? Was this something Duke Energy?
Duke Energy.
does with?
Yes, it's a huge initiative that they advertised for. I thought that it was an
Rockingham Door?
outstanding. No, I thought that it was an outstanding, forward-thinking idea, and I applied for the grant, and the city was awarded the grant.
How long's the grant open? How long is the grant open?
We have until the end of January to approve this agreement, so we do have some
So we
time.
got, we're good.
Yeah, we can do it next month.
Move the table. That,
Okay, got a motion to table it? Got a second? All in favor say aye. Okay, thank you. Item number 12-2 is budget amendments, and I think we're gonna need to have an amendment as far as the, grant for the charging stations. Am I correct on that? To delete the increase. And the expenditure this time. Bill, what do we need to do on that? Well, it doesn't need to be on this and be approved tonight. It doesn't need to be approved on this budget amendment tonight. Okay.
It could be approved, though.
It could be approved next month, but it,
Right, yeah. I just say, be easier if we go ahead and approve it now, and then if we don't do it, take it out. Yeah,
okay, well, I'm good with that if everybody else is.
yeah.
Motion?
Make a motion, we approve them.
Okay.
They just save you some time too, huh?
The budget,
Yeah.
no, the budget amendment.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Need a second?
second.
Got a second? Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Okay, we come to that part, departmental reports. Do we have anyone here tonight that has a, Stephanie, did you have anything for us tonight? Okay. Cheryl, did you have anything for us? The sound project, I was gonna ask you about that. It'll be when? The week of the 23rd of January, they'll begin work on the new sound equipment.
Can you explain what they're gonna do?
Come back,
I mean,
come up.
give us a,
Do you want me to bring that up? You're talking about the engineering?
You'll see the door on the left-hand side. Beside that, you've got a display. It's a vote over there. In the middle, you've got a projection screen, more or less where this already is. Another display on the right-hand side. Microphone here, there, and control equipment in the back.
so is that all the video will be right there?
That, the video will be on our articulated mount. They'll be able to point for you. This will be able to point this direction for the audience. And of course, the projection screen will come down.
Okay, will Mr. Martin be able to see one of the monitors from where he's sitting?
Yes.
That was the reason we made it where it's
Good, I just couldn't picture it.
That's hard seeing sideways.
That's right, you're way down on that end.
Seems like to me that'll be over there for them. That's side of the door.
The technician with the company recommended that we place a screen hanging basically right below the fire alarm to the right of the door, and it would be on a mount that that rotates out at like a 15 to 30 degree angle, so it's pointed towards where Wendy and Eddie sit.
Right.
How big of a screen?
60 or 65.
Of course, that's diagonal.
Yeah.
Look at print.
Microphone, they call it Disconnect microphone, all things. This is here, this is here. A document camera, will be using the projector is on the table beside it. Wireless mic here, another wireless mic for the audience if someone
Yeah.
is unable to come to the podium. Control equipment in the back room. I think that's about it. With all the miles of equipment. And we'll also be able to use this, if we were doing a training session where we did not want to film, another setting where you press a button, it's not being recorded, and you can use it for training, for the employees or meetings or anything else, where it didn't have
Budget meetings.
use it.
Where will your equipment be? In this room?
What company's gonna be installing it?
Clark Powell out of Charlotte.
They wouldn't know of any problems with that week. Basically, when they come in, they'll need to have the room for the whole week. So it basically needs to be off limits. They'll have equipment, kind of stuff.
They're gonna, schedule that week. We did, we can do it somewhere
The
else.
budget meeting for that week.
We'll work around that.
Okay.
We want that stuff installed. Sooner the better.
Okay.
And you did say that there would be several, portable mics that were available.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes I have to come down out of the,
Right.
okay, very good.
And then I think the equipment we have now is still good. You'll be able to add that as well.
Okay. Anybody else got questions? Thank you so much for what you do. And the new security system, you all have got that all in working, so that's great. Haven't heard any complaints on it at all. Billy, do you have anything for us tonight? Gail, did you have anything for us tonight? Please come forward. I believe you have some information on the Monroe Garden Apartment.
Exactly. I'm so happy to report tonight that after a long time that we did open bids yesterday for the demolition of the two buildings that we know as the Monroe Garden Apartments up on Earl Franklin Drive. And so I have applied for the permits from the state, mailed those off today. Holiday season's upon us, so I'm looking at maybe 3 weeks to get those back. And we have a target date of January the 11th to start removal of those buildings. So that is going to be a wonderful improvement in that area. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we foreclose on that?
See, I think I missed anybody. Jill, did you have anything for us? Tammy, did you have anything?
Potential commercial.
Okay. I did want to thank Tim and Kay for what you did over on Hamlet Avenue the other night. Y'all just had a great program over there, and we appreciate what you did. That's both nights. It looks good for the city of Hamlet. Thank you so much. Move along to city manager's report. Abernathy.
Yes, thank you. The only thing that I wanted to announce was, again, I wanted to thank you for the Christmas raises. That was very thoughtful. They do greatly appreciate that. And I wanted to make an announcement to let the public know of changes to the garbage schedule due to the holidays. Friday, December 23rd's garbage will be picked up on Thursday, December 22nd. Tuesday, December 27th will be picked up on Wednesday, December 28th. Wednesday, December 28th will be picked up on Thursday, December 29th. And Thursday, December 29th will be picked up on Friday, the 30th. Each day will basically be picked up the day before.
So that week after Christmas, your normal garbage day will be moved forward one day, correct?
The day before.
Okay. Yeah, excuse me,
Back.
Mr. Nevinger.
That's neat.
Very good. Thank you.
I appreciate you letting me put the lights up because I have a problem and it helps me get over it by putting lights up.
I don't want to know. Anything else, Mr. Abernathy?
That's all I have.
I need you to come around front here just a minute. As everyone knows, Mr. Abernathy will be leaving us soon, unfortunately. And all of the city of Hamlet, employees, the council, and everybody wanted to give him this pencil drawing of of the depot.
Turn around so you can see.
Thank you so much. There you go.
Turn around so I can see it. Let's see some of it. Oh, that's good, yeah, okay. Great. All right.
Did you draw that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else for us at this time?
No, sir.
Okay.
Just another thank you.
Oh. Okay, this time we'll move along to comments of council. Mr. Lindsay?
Christmas parade. I want to thank my wife, yes ma'am, person, for all she did. She really got it going. I got a long list. I'll be quick. Jane McCall, Deb Holmes, Renee Grabowski, Stephanie Thornsberry, plus family. All of her family, I think, was out at some point. Robin Wise, Jennifer Turner, Wendy Massey, Mike Dees, Max Seagull, David McCall, Oscar Sellers, Andrew Feldman, Daryl Allen, and Mickey, Minnie, and Winnie the Pooh. But they all helped make the parade. I can't say who they were, but they really helped. And the police department did a wonderful job, and the fire department. But the police department had us covered at every intersection and stayed afterwards. And I can't thank you enough, guys. It really helps. So I think it was a good parade. A little cooler than the year before, but moved swiftly. The 82nd Airborne came in, did a good job. The parade committee fed the 82nd Seaboard. I don't know if they had any chicken the next day, but they fed the crowd. So again, and thanks to Billy for his help with everybody. It's a team effort to put the parade on. And thank you. Merry Christmas, dog.
Mr. McQueen?
Yeah, I'm not going to try to get into naming any names. I didn't have everything written down, but I'll second what he said. But in all seriousness, I'd just like to thank all the employees for everything they do for us. Without every one of them, the city wouldn't run as smoothly as it does. I'd like to wish all of our employees a Merry Christmas, all the people in the community a Merry Christmas, and hope everybody's safe and just has a great holiday season with their family.
Mr. Martin?
Well, it's about the same. Just kudos to everybody that participated in the parade and the ones that put it together. It went well and it was very nice. I enjoyed watching it myself. Personally, I don't care nothing about being politically correct, so I'm going to say Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'd like to say, again, thank you to everybody that was involved in the activities in Hamlet last week. The parade, it went super. Seems like every year it goes better. And without having to name all of these wonderful names that Mr. Lindsay named, thanks to all of them. They worked hard, and the weather turned out beautiful for us that day, so that was great. The other thing I'd like to say is I had the opportunity on Saturday night to go down and work with the school groups that were singing, and those children came out. The weather was cold. I'm going to tell you, it was miserable cold as far as having to be down there. Some of them weren't wrapped up that tight, but they came out and they sang their hearts out. And we had groups from Washington Street, we had groups from Second Baptist Church, and one from Monroe Avenue. And they just got out there and sang their little hearts out, and it was just great that we had that. And my only other thing is I definitely want to wish everybody in the city a Merry Christmas from my wife and myself, and hope they have a wonderful, wonderful New Year. So thank you for that. And council, at this time, we need to have a short session of closed session under General Statute 143, 31811A3 and A6 for attorney-client privilege and personnel matter.
Make a motion to go in closed session and reference that statute.
Okay, at this time we are back in open session. There were no votes taken or anything of that nature, and issues were resolved. And at this time, I would ask for a motion to close.
So moved.
Got a motion to close?
Second.
And second. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise.